Hey everybody, it's Rob here. I've been playing an early access version of Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred expansion, and I want to talk to you about the state of the Barbarian in the current game. So I definitely spent most of my time on Spiritborn, and I've only played this Barb for about 10 hours. However, they did buff Mighty Throw pretty significantly. There's about a 30% buff on the Mighty Throw itself, and they also nerfed most other classes using the Warcry and the Petrify rune. And since we are Barbarian, we can still use the Warcry rune and we can still get Berserking from it. So the Barbarian did not get nerfed as much as other classes, in particular the weapon throw build. However, I tried Whirlwind, I tried Thorns, and it looks like all the cool stuff there is nerfed. So there's definitely the Needle Flare interaction with Barb Carapace has been nerfed. And I was not able to test the Tough as Nails, like you might have seen the infinite damage Barb. If that was nerfed, because it requires a lot of masterwork materials for Tough as Nails, and masterwork materials was really hard to come by on this test server. However, I did test the weapon throw, and it is very easily Torment IV viable. I've only spent a couple hours on this build. Obviously, I've been taking some gear from the Spiritborn. I just want to show you the current setup and what it can do, basically. So we're just rocking a weapon throw, and this actually has received a pretty cool buff, and this is like an overpower build. And we actually deal like some pretty decent amount of damage here when we overpower, as you guys can see here. It's like already hitting for 30 million, and we basically just started this character. I do have the Ubers though, so those help a lot. But it is also viable without Ubers. And we do not rely on the Bolt's Chieftain. So the Bolt's Chieftain has been changed. It now gives a % damage cooldown reduction rather than a flat cooldown reduction. So you guys can see here, if I equip a Shaco, I have a greater affix cooldown Shaco. I press my shouts, you see it's about 9 seconds cooldown, and this is about the maximum that you can get. So you will not longer have permanent shouts, so this has been a big nerf for most of the builds. However, this Mighty Throw Barb here is not using Bolt's Chieftain, so I'm going to link the full planner that I think is going to be the best Barbarian build, which is the Mighty Throw. Below. It's not that great for leveling. It's okay, you can play it for leveling. This is like more like a decent endgame build, and I think it's like fairly strong. At the moment there is a bug with the rune where I'm not getting Berserking, but I already got confirmation this is going to be fixed in the final patch that you guys are going to play. So the rune is going to give you the Warcry. I'm going to show you the setup here, and then we're going to be rocking some T4. Basically, so I don't have like ideal setups. Like usually I want to drop Warcry and put charge on my bar. However, I can't do this right now because the rune doesn't give me Berserking, and you definitely need Berserking because I don't have enough Fury to play with Unbridled Rage yet. However, the endgame build is definitely gonna rock Unbridled Rage. So this is my current setup. We're rocking Air of Perdition. This is the new helm. It gives us a bunch of multipliers, gives us core, and also gives us crit chance. Then we're rocking the Shroud of the False Death. We are rocking, this one has resource generation. You can also go with Tyraels Might if you like. Notice this is a bar build, and Barbarian is so weak, it requires all the Uber uniques to be like at least decent. Else, I definitely recommend you play Spiritborn. I have a bunch of builds for that as well. Barbarian is still okay in leveling, and it is still okay in endgame once you have the Ubers, but it takes a bit of time to come online in the endgame, really. Then we're rocking Retribution, we're rocking Tyraels Will, we're rocking Yen's Blessing. We are rocking Encroaching Wrath here with Chance to Mighty Throw. So if you have enough resources, you can actually like triple hit that Chance to Mighty Throw, and it's gonna make the build a lot feel a lot stronger. Like once you have this, I don't have this right now because yeah, materials are very scarce, and it's just a lot of damage that is missing basically. Then we're rocking the Third Blade to have no cooldown on Mighty Throw. We are rocking the Doombringer. This one gives us tremendous amounts of life. You see this Barbarian here has 21k life, which is insane after the stat squish. So still a lot of life with Grandfather, with Herculean here. This is the new aspect giving you a nice multiplier. And then very important here, Call of the Ancients cooldown. I don't have the perfect rolls at the moment, so I'm kind of missing a lot of cooldown here. And on the other ring as well, I didn't even masterwork this one. We can probably try get this one. It's very important to have permanent Call of the Ancients for the Fury generation that they give. You see here, Colic gives you 10 Fury each time it deals damage with Frenzy. And then we're rocking Tyraels Will. This basically allows us to constantly proc our overpowers. And I'm just going to show you here like how T4 Like, this is the hardest difficulty. And again, I only played like 10 hours. I do, however, have the Ubers already that I farmed on my Spiritborn. It's very cool. You can craft the Ubers very cheap now. You just need 2 mythic shards, and you can basically try and craft these already. So now we're going to keep going here. And this is basically the hardest health that you can do. We're probably going to be drinking like a potion. And I'll just show you here, like, we're basically... we'll be blasting out down these enemies here. Again, T4 is not that easy. In general, it's not that easy, and it took me like quite some time to get the Spiritborn T4 viable as well. However, here on the Barb, we can definitely like rock this very comfortable. Once we have the Ubers, I would not recommend going in here without having the Ubers. Like, they certainly help you a lot, but you guys can see they basically pose no challenge here. Like, we're also extremely tanky. Because we have max res and we have this like 21k life. No other class I think even has anywhere close to this life pool, and we're basically, you know, you see here like we're throwing the Q-tips at the enemies, and usually I won't want to drop one of my shouts. Like, once they fix the bug with the Om rune, when it actually gives us berserking, we have pure berserking just from that, and right now that doesn't work. So this build is going to be even stronger on the live game that you get to play, and it is certainly, unless there is like another bug with thorns, this is certainly the best build that Barbarian has. And once you have the Uber Uniques, it actually is gonna be pretty good. Like, this build is very strong. Like, don't underestimate how hard T4 is. And I think I played about like 10 hours on this character, so I don't have all the aspects maxed. I don't have the Staff Master worked. I don't even have Ancestral Weapons on half the pieces. We have Mighty Throw assigned to our Mace. This is just so it gives us additional DPS, and we're just blasting down these enemies here. So you see here we have the Mighty Throw attached to the Mace, and yeah, we can basically, we have the Subo Mercenary, which basically allows us here to see the entire map. I just can't go on my horse for too long, because then it triggers like an internal cooldown on this. But yeah, it's a very comfortable farming build, and I should also probably press my Hoda a bit more. Not really been doing that all too much. So yeah, we can like rock here. We're very well established already on World Tier 4. And again, World Tier 4 now is reserved for good builds, and it's reserved for like end game setups. Like, they made this clear. They made it like very hard to even go in Torment 4. So you might say, yeah, but Rob, you only can do this because you have Ubers. Yeah, if you don't have Ubers, just do World Tier 3 basically, or Torment 3. The Spiritborn can probably do this, or definitely can do this with completely without Ubers. You should check my poison build. I'm gonna have that once it's out linked in the description. Like, this is the build that can do a T4 completely without any Ubers and still be fine on survivability and still be fine on just general DPS output. But the Barbarian definitely needs Ubers. But again, Ubers are really easy to come by these days, because you can just craft them for just 2 sparks, and you guarantee a spark. You can kill Lilith and get a spark, and you can kill the or you can finish the season journey, and I think you also get a spark. So it's basically a guaranteed Uber unique already. You can also play Starless Sky here. However, ideally you want to spend a lot of resources in this build. So it's gonna be even better like if you're actually spending resources rather than spending less resources, because spending resource gives you healing, it gives you more Banished Lord procs, it also gives you more encroaching Wrath procs here, the weapon. It's gonna go do this. And the runes we are playing here is... Let me kill these here real quick. So we are playing the non-channeling core skill that we cast. Like, we cast this very easy, like it's just our Mighty Throw. So once we cast this, we reduce the cooldown of our ultimates, and the ultimates is basically how we keep the resource afloat. And then we are using the Lith Om, like when we just stand still. Like in the higher tier, like here when we attack, we basically are standing still. And that is gonna increase our damage with Warcry, and the Warcry, right now it doesn't work, but it's gonna work on the live game, gives you berserking, and it also gives you additional damage, and we all trigger this. In the end, you can get every Yen's Blessing trigger on the Rallying Warcry. So right now the build doesn't really work that well, because Warcry is taking Yen's Blessing procs, but once that is fixed, you can drop the Warcry, you get charge on the bar, and you just play like this basically. And then you have perma resources. I mean, I can probably do this right now. We just don't have as much berserking. So we're going to be missing a little bit of damage because the Warcry here right now, again, it just doesn't give us Berserking. But yeah, the build's pretty strong. We can still get Berserking from using our Steel Grasp. And I've made a full video like where this was clearing 100 on the PTR. Now obviously it's not going to be that easy anymore. They're going to make it, by the looks of it, a lot harder. But yeah, this build, let me actually spawn the Hellborns here. This build is like very well established in World War 4 already. And I think I just played like 10 hours on the Barb, so like my glyphs are not even high level. Nothing is going crazy yet. I'll show you the skill tree here in a sec. Just want to like spawn the ambush here. And whenever we have our engines up, which we will once we masterwork the rings, we're going to have even more cooldown. So that's going to be very comfortable. And see, resources also are not really an issue. We can also use our charge if we need to get even more resources. And yeah, here the packs and everything just melts. I've seen hits like up to like 100 million already. And our glyphs are like level 40, and there's like a lot of stuff to, you know, further optimize here. Let me finish this ambush. I'll just show you how it's gonna go. And again, this can also kill the Uber bosses, so Barbarian is gonna be okay. It's not gonna be like a crazy class. It's probably not gonna be like S tier in the overall tier list. It's more looking like that this might be an A tier build. I think it's relatively strong compared to other classes that are not Spiritborn. So in that regard, I think Barb's fine. But yeah, compared to Spiritborn and some of the other meta builds, I just wish they didn't nerf the Whirlwind. So what they did with the Whirlwind, Barbarian is, and same with Tyraels, I can show this to you real quick. You are basically not able to trigger. Let me kill this guy real quick. And the Hellborn has a bit of HP, as you can see. Oh, here, one thing is also really cool here, like this guy, like he summons like a big protective barrier that gives us a ton of a ton of damage reduction. So that's gonna be very strong. Like, you know, in the end game, you'll definitely be one-shotting these builds, like once you have your glyphs leveled and stuff, like this guy is just gonna die in like pretty much one hit. Right now, obviously, I'm not quite there yet, but yeah, we can still take it down, like pretty comfortable. And with that, like, we basically rocked the Helltide on the Barbarian with Jan's Blessing and the new mighty throw build. I'll show you the skill tree and the Paragon again. The planner is going to be linked in down below. Strongest build out there. So I think we already went over all the equipment. I'm going to hover it once more. You definitely want to check that you have max res. I think I do this right now. Like you see, this is my resistance without Tyraels Might. It's still pretty decent. And I have a little bit less armor, but once I level those glyphs, it's gonna be fine. And once I get everything ancestral, because I'm missing some ancestral pieces on this character, and some of my items are only like 4 out of 8, so there's a lot of stuff to upgrade. Skill tree is looking like this. Basically just 2 points to unlock. We use Hammer of the Ancients. We overpower again with our Banished Lords, like in the endgame build. This is going to be very strong. And we also get more resource generation from Holdout. With Warpath, we also get another multiplier. Then we have Imposing Presence and Martial Vigor. They're going to buff this even further, so it's going to be very good. Then Rallying Cry, really important. This is how we generate all the resources. We have 1 point in Outburst and Toughest Nails, 2 Progger Bleeds. And then we have the Warcry, and this is just going to proc automagically, again from the Warcry rune. However, right now it's a bit bugged, but it's going to be fine in the live game. We have the Duration, we have 1 point in Charge. It's very nice, it makes you unstoppable. It also gives you resources back with Tybot's Will, so very nice synergy right there. Then we have Aggressive Resistance and Prolific Fury. More generation is always welcome. We want to generate and spend a lot. Pit Fighter, Slaying Strike, Exposed Vulnerability. This one basically, since with the third blade, our weapon mastery skills are becoming core skills. We're going to get the Exposed Vulnerability basically auto trigger. We have vulnerability all the time. And then we have Steel Grass to pull in enemies and also give them Berserking. We have a Thick Skin, Counter Offensive, also 1 point in Irrepressible, basically making you perma fortify. And yeah, 1 point in Defensive Stance just gives you some damage reduction. Maxed out Call of the Ancients. You want to have this perfect with the rolls on your rings, and you're going to have this once you have good gear. And then triple heavy-handed, Wallop, and Brute Force, big DPS, 1 point in Invigorating. This one is going to heal you very nicely. And then right now I'm still playing Unconstrained, but in the end game you want to play Unbridled Rage once your Fury is going to be fine. Paragon board looks like this. We have Crusher and Starter board, 1.2 overpower multiplier. And then we have Carnage here, attack speed while berserking, we berserk all the time. With Wrath, this one also gives you Fury back and we also crit a lot. There's actually like crit chance here on the Paragon tree. So they changed a lot of cool stuff here, crit chance. There's also like max life. There's also like a bunch of resistance. And then we have Blood Rage here, 1.3 multiplier, so you want to have 300 berserking. It's very easy to get though with the new Paragon boards. You guys can see here. Like this already gives you 40% berserking and stuff. So I'm not struggling with berserking. You already have overkill once you just get it. I think I have, I have one roll, which is 100%, and I'm already rocking 340. So we already have overkill with one roll. So it's gonna be one berserking roll, and you're gonna be just fine. Then we rock Challenger here is a new glyph. They nerfed it quite a lot, and I also didn't level it. You see my glyphs are like only level 50 and stuff like that. So there's a lot of room for improvement. Then up here we have Bonebreaker with Might. Again, we use a two-hander, so we get a big multiplier here. And we multiply like to overpower the damage and stuff like this. So these are going to be looking very nice, 88 overpower damage. And you can like blast these even more. We have damage reduction while healthy, really strong, fortify stuff. Tenacity, again, really strong, a lot of life. And then last but not least, we are rocking Decimator here. Also like vulnerable damage reduction, more life percent, healing received, overpower damage, vulnerable here. With the Martial glyph, right now in the end game, you don't need Martial. However, right now, because I don't have perfect cooldown, I still need it. I think the planner here is already updated. And you will play Dominate for even more overpowers and overpower damage. But yeah, early on, I think Martial is going to be a very good solution. But yeah, that's pretty much the Barb right now, guys. So what they did with Whirlwind and Tyraels, I'm going to show you this real quick. They changed this, so it doesn't really work that well. Let me put in the Whirlwind runes, and I'll show this to you. We need to go to the training dummy. So the way that it worked before is that you could spam your Whirlwind all the time, significantly increasing your damage. However, they changed that. So if we do, let me imprint Whirlwind here. And you could already see this on the, no, that's not the one. You could already see this on the PTR basically. Whirlwind leave behind Death Devils. I think I do have enough fury for this. And the same goes for the Tyraels Might. So you are not able to benefit from the spamming of Whirlwind. It basically is the same now if you hold it down or if you don't. And for those of you who know, that is a big deal. You see, this is my Tyraels Might procs. And even if I do this, it doesn't get faster. See, this is, I'm holding it. And this is me spamming it. It's the same thing. And now if we equip this, just watch the twisters, like how little it spawns. Again, I don't have double chance right now, but this is basically holding it, and this is spamming it. So there's no difference anymore between spamming and holding it. So it's just slow either way, no matter what you do. So the Whirlwind build has been nerfed a lot, and I definitely recommend you guys to play Weapon Throw. It does quite some decent damage, and it got buffed even more. It was already very strong on the PTR, and it was also not using Petrify. It wasn't using like the Warcry that is getting nerfed for the other classes. So this build was also not using both chieftains, so it has a lot going for it, and I think it's going to be the only A-tier Barbarian build that we will have for Season 6. I'll start with Spiritborn, but I'm definitely going to be switching at some point, a couple days, couple weeks in. I'm definitely going to be trying out and checking out what's going on in the Barb. I'm looking forward to make a Weapon Throw build. We are throwing some Q-tips at the enemies, and maybe there's even some new hidden builds. Like, we'll see what Thorns will be after all the bug fixes. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to test that. But yeah, there's still so much more to uncover, guys. There's new stuff for all the classes, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. It's going to be a lot of fun. Log in just a few days, and we're starting. Let's go! If you liked this video, make sure to subscribe, leave a like or a comment. I'm also live on Twitch almost every day, so come and say hi.